everyone, and welcome to the first in a series which I have called Top Tip Tuesdays. So I've decided to do a few shortish videos just to show the processes that I use. When I have questions from subscribers on my videos, it's nice to be able to answer the questions, and I thought that the easiest way to do it was just to do a little video. So this Top Tip Tuesday video is called how to make cookies for your kiln, because obviously kiln props and things are quite expensive. So I mean, I do or have in the past bought these are little kiln shelves, so they're basically just used as props, but obviously they're quite expensive. Useful but expensive, and you can easily make them yourselves, as I'm just going to show you. So I've just prepared a very rough slab. It doesn't have to be anything. It can be made from reclaimed clay that you've got hanging about, as long as you give it a good wedge and make sure that your slab has no air bubbles in it. And then what I do, because I find that cookies are better when they have surface texture. And the reason that I put this surface texture on them is that when an item is standing on it and the glaze drips down through, it will pool in the texture, in the bottom bit of the texture, rather than sitting on the top. And if they were flat, then you would have as much trouble getting it off of the cookie as you would have had getting it off the kiln shelf. So I texture mine, and I make my own texture rollers. So these are just bisque fired rollers. So I've made them into a cylinder when they're leather hard. When they're wet, and then when they're leather hard, I've just used a tool just to put some texture on there. And actually, that's a good way of making your own designs as well. So I quite like these, and I also use them for test tiles for my glazes. So all I'm going to do very quickly is just push some texture into this slab. It doesn't really matter what texture it is, and you know, as I use them also for my glazed tiles, sometimes I like to have a little bit of a different surface for the glaze to pool into, so that you can see. And then I also make my own textured rollers. That's probably for another video. So today we'll just concentrate on cookies. So I'm just very roughly putting some texture onto this slab so that it's textured all over, like so. Done with those. And then the next process is literally, it's as easy as, I do use cling film when I'm cutting through with cutters because it gives you a better edge. You don't have to do this, you know, it doesn't matter. And then I have just pastry cutters. So these are smooth on one side and fluted on the other. So you can decide whether you want fluted or unfluted. Now that obviously is a fluted tile, and I make them in different sizes so that different things fit on them, obviously. So if I'm making mugs and vases, I quite like them to be this size so that they fit underneath the actual rim of the vase. Now I've obviously taken the glaze off of the base of this rim, but you know, sometimes if you're using a drippy glaze, that's what you're trying to avoid going on your kiln shelf. So generally speaking, I make round ones and square ones, only because sometimes I make round things and sometimes square. So all I'm doing now is cutting through the slab, through the cling film, through the slab. And then I have, as I say, I have square cookie cutters as well. These are really cheap. You can buy them in the pound store or the dollar store if you're in America. So you know, they're really useful, and I use them quite a lot for other things, not just for cookie cutting. So there we go. And the little ones, interestingly, the very small ones, so ones like this size, actually are really, really useful, because this particular mug that I had standing on a cookie, you can see the remainder of the cookie there. Well, the glaze went down the side of the cookie as it would. So I've actually damaged this mug and it's left half the cookie on there. But when I refired this mug, when it came out of the kiln, it had a set of 3 actually. So this mug, which I reglaze fired because it had some pinholes in it. So when I put it back in the kiln, I put it on a cookie with a smaller cookie and a smaller cookie on there because I knew it would run. And as you can see, when it was standing on there, that means that there's no cookie on the bit that's on the glaze bit that's going to run. So you can see on here, that is the actual drip from this mug, where it's come down here on the bottom of the mug. So that drip would have stuck a cookie to the bottom of the pot had I not used another cookie to stack it on. So they're quite useful for stacking. So basically all I've done is rolled out a slab, put some texture on it, chosen which cookies I want, and then there is your cookie. And basically you just bisque fire that, and it comes out, as I say, like this, or straight edge ones like this. And then I bisque them to normal bisque firing, and then I just use them over and over again. After a while, they do start to sort of warp, or this one's got a lovely bubble on it now, as you can see on the bottom. That wasn't in there before, but it's probably been fired 5 or 6 times. So of course now it doesn't sit flat, but nonetheless, when they get to that stage, I usually chuck them out when I've made some more. So, and they're not costing you very much because obviously you're making them out of your own resalvaged clay. Some of them, like this one I was just showing you with the glaze on it, that is now useless and does need to be thrown away. So, but it saved my kiln shelf, and as the kiln shelves are very expensive, as you know, it's good not to do that. If I'm making something with glass, so we make sculptural poppies which I use glass frit on, then I make these little dishes. So same idea, exactly the same idea, and I've just pinched up the edge, and that holds that glaze, that glass. Otherwise that glass would be all over my shelf. So that would take a lot of grinding off with a Dremel head or a diamond head, or I do use the grinding pads, but of course the trouble with a kiln shelf is that it's this wide and the grinding pad is this wide, and it's difficult to get it on. So they do help you save your shelves. So I hope that's been really useful for you. Any questions, do put them in the comments below, and if you subscribe to my channel, you'll see the Top Tip Tuesday videos coming up as we go through. So if there's something that you would like me to do, or a question that you'd like answered, just please put it in the comments and I'll have a go at answering it. So very good to see you, and I'll see you on the next one. Thanks for now. Bye.